everybody. If you've been following along, you know that a couple days ago I made some cultured butter. So one of the byproducts of the cultured butter is this, which is this really good flavorful buttermilk. So I'm trying to think of something to do with this, and my family and I love fried chicken sandwiches, so we're gonna make a buttermilk and pickle juice brine for some fried chicken sandwiches. So this will be dinner tomorrow night, but I want to get these things brining. So I have a little over a cup of buttermilk here. I did reserve a little bit in case I want to start another batch of cultured butter, because that first batch is actually going pretty quick. And then I'm going to add some pickle juice. I'm going to add, I don't know, I guess about a cup. If you don't like pickles as much, don't add as much. If you like it. All right. Thanks for coming, Chewbacca. Have a good day. Yeah, it's nice when Chewie can come. I'm going to put that together. I'm going to go ahead and add some black pepper. So what we're doing here is creating a brine. We dry brined some chicken the other day. So I'm going to add a pretty generous amount of salt because my goal here is to season our chicken. But that's all that's going to go in there. I want to be careful I don't put as much salt as I would in a typical brine because our pickles, our dill pickles here actually have quite a bit of salt in them. So I love to make this dish with chicken thighs. I don't have any chicken thighs. This is a time when we make do with what we have, and we're fortunate to have these chicken breasts. I already went through and trimmed them. I cut off the rib meat, which is those little sections of meat off the side. They're good stuff. They're going to go right into our brine, and that'll be snacks for me while I'm cooking. But I want to show you how we're going to make this chicken thinner. My goal is to cook this pretty quickly because chicken breast does dry out even with the brining, so I want it to be thin. I'm going to hold my hand on top of the chicken breast. I'm going to take a nice sharp knife and just go right in between. And if you want, you can stop and take a picture, take a look at what you're doing, but cut it right through like this. And we'll get two pieces that are relatively similar in size. So I think that looks about like a good size for a sandwich, and that one does as well. So I'll put those in there. And I want to put them in separate too so that they all get exposed to the brine. This part here is a little thinner, so I'm going to cut this and put it in here, but it's pretty thick here still. So I'm going to actually get a whole nother piece of chicken out of this. Now you can buy really thin pieces of chicken, or you can ask your butcher to do this for you. So I'll take these guys and put them right into our brine. And now this is more chicken than we're going to eat, but I'm going to go ahead and cook these anyways and brine them. And that would be a really great quick snack. So I'm going to cut this one up. I'll get it into our brine. We'll let it sit overnight. And then I will see you tomorrow for the actual frying and the finished sandwich. All right, so now it's been about 24 hours. So I cut this chicken last night, and it's sitting in a mixture of buttermilk that was left over from when we made our homemade butter and pickle juice. Don't tell Oliver. I tell Oliver every morning that I'm going to give him pickle juice, and he freaks out a little bit. So don't tell him that it's pickle juice. But what Lucy's going to do is she's going to season our flour for our fried chicken. Why don't you go ahead and do that and tell people what you're doing while you do it.
Okay, I'm going to add some garlic powder.
That's good. I'll take it.
I'm going to add some chili powder.
So you can season this however you want. But just remember that you want to be kind of aggressive with your seasoning because it's a very, very thin coating of seasoning that's going to end up, of flour that's going to end up on the chicken. So it has to be seasoned pretty well.
Add some salt.
And I would say you can do 4 more salts like that. And I'm going to add a little bit more chili powder.
Okay.
Like I said, we want to make sure it's really well seasoned. That's good.
Okay. Add some pepper.
However much you think. That looks good to me. Now go ahead and stick your fingers in there and mix it all around. So the first step in our process is Lucy and I are going to bread this chicken. So like I said, it's sitting in buttermilk and pickle juice. That's good, Luce. So I'm going to lift one up. I'm going to let it drain pretty well. Put it right in here. And the way I like to do this is actually to take some of the flour and put it right on top like this and then pat it in. And we just want to get it really well covered. And then we'll shake it off and it's going to go right onto this cookie sheet. You want to do one?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll put it on there. Go ahead and put a handful of flour right on the top, and then pat that in and put it on there. So what we're going to do is bread all of these, and then we're going to let it sit on the tray for a while. The moisture from the buttermilk and pickle brine from inside the chicken is actually going to hydrate our flour, and it's going to make the flour sticky. Then we're going to take that sticky chicken and put it back in the flour one more time to finish breading it. We'll show you that in a minute.
Okay, now it's time to toast some buns for our sandwiches. So there's some butter in the pan and there's some buns right here that I'm going to put in the pan.
Those are potato rolls, nice and soft. You can fit 4 of them in there, sweetheart. 2 tops and 2 bottoms. And these will act like a little butter sponge. And Lucy's doing just the right thing, kind of moving them around so that they brown evenly.
Okay, now they're perfect and golden brown, and I'm going to do some more.
All right, it's been about 15 minutes, and if you take a look at our chicken, it's just been sitting here, but you can see that now it starts to look wet. So the moisture from the chicken has gotten the flour wet. The other thing I want you to take a look at is the flour. You can see in the flour that there's little kind of wet chunks of flour. This is what's gonna give a really nice crispy crust to our finished chicken. So Lucy, why don't you take a piece of chicken, stick it in the flour. Does it feel wet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll be the one who breads it if you want. But then we're just gonna pack this on there, and we'll do this to all of them, and then we'll be ready to get them frying. So we finished breading all our chicken. I've got a pot here, a heavy gauge pot, because it holds onto its heat really well. And it's got some vegetable oil in there. So what I'm gonna do is actually put a little pinch of my flour in there and see, as long as that kind of bubbles like that, that tells me that it's ready to go. So I'm gonna do this in a small amount of oil. I don't have a ton of oil. We're trying not to go to the store a lot. So we're gonna do a shallow fry on this. My favorite way to do it is in a deep fryer, but another really good, pretty simple way to do it is with your air fryer. The one thing I would do different is I would spray each one of these with some non-stick pan spray, because it needs just that little bit of fat for the heat transfer and to get it crispy. But I'm gonna go ahead and take these pieces. I'll probably do 2 at a time. Gently lay them right in there. So they're just barely submerged. So I just want to be careful they don't brown too much on the bottom or stick on the bottom. But these won't take very long at all to cook, because yesterday we purposely made them nice and thin. We're going to let them go until they're golden brown on one side. All right, so it's been about 45 seconds or so. You can see that the chicken's not quite cooked there. See how it's pretty pink? But it's getting a little golden, so I'm going to flip it over. Getting a little hot, so I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. Now I'm on like medium high. Remember, every gas stove is a little bit different. If you were doing a whole bunch of these, I would actually pull these out now, and then when I'm ready to eat them later, just throw them in the oven really quick to finish cooking them. But everyone in this house is hungry, so we're going to cook these all the way through. All right, that looks about perfect. I'm going to gently take these, and I have a wire rack over a sheet pan here. I'm going to let these hang out. And I'm going to go ahead and add more right to the pan. And we'll keep going until we get all the pieces cooked. Then we'll come back and actually build our sandwiches. All right, so check out our chicken. It's all fried, it's all cooked all the way through. It's get nice and crispy on the outside. I did eat a couple little snacks off the side of some of them, and it's awesome. It's a really nice blend. You can taste that pickle juice, and you can taste that buttermilk. It's nice and tender. I'm gonna make a quick sandwich. So for me, I like to have a little mayonnaise on there, so I'm gonna put mayonnaise on both sides of the bun. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken. Yeah, that looks, look at that. I love how that's hanging over the side of the bun. And we're gonna keep it simple with just some pickles. put that together and we'll go ahead and cut this guy in half and take a look. Take a look at that. Beautiful chicken there. All right, we'll see what Lucy thinks of it. So Lucy is now back. She left when it was time to fry to go play for a little bit, but now that it's time to have a sample, she's back. Before you take a bite, sweetheart, will you tell us what tonight's question is?
Sure. How many ounces are in a pound?
How many ounces are in a pound? Excellent. All right, why don't you go ahead and try that chicken or that chicken sandwich.
Okay.
See what you think.
Hot.
It's hot still. What do you think?
It's really good.
Good.
Bye. Have a nice day.